What's a story, amigos? This is Kino with some cool stories for today's story time.
Why were the cats so important to the island? The answer is in our first story, read by John Ritter.
And there were no field mice because cats from town chased them into the forest.
Our second story is about a very neat boy with a huge problem.
You can't keep him, shouted his mother from the window.
Then Kim Consitung tells us of a boy who can't decide if he should take his teddy bear to his friend's house.
Suppose I won't like sleeping without my teddy bear. Suppose I just hate sleeping without my teddy bear.
And now, the time is right. The books are hot. We'll hear fine stories and enjoy them a lot.
Storytime is a production of KCET and is made possible by a gift from Helen and Peter Bing, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. And now, join Kino and his friend Mara at her place for story time.
Well, we are so happy you came to visit, John.
Yep. And now we can get the inside story on how you read at home.
Well, thanks. We're real happy to be here. As far as how we read at home, it's easy. I guess what we do is we just pick up a book, we choose a nice, comfortable spot, and we read away. And we usually afterwards, we talk about the story or about the pictures. And I guess, isn't that pretty much how it goes, Tyler?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
In my house, my mom lets us take turns choosing the stories. Who chooses the stories in your house?
Mom, Jason, Carly, and Dad, and sometimes I do.
Yeah, Jason's his older brother, Carly's his older sister.
Oh. You know, there's really one neat thing about reading, and that's that you can do it almost anywhere.
That's right. Well, as a matter of fact, we're ready to go on a trip, and what we do is we pack a special book bag for the kids so that on the plane or in the airport, they'll have something to do and read, and they never get bored.
Right.
And so this time, we brought a book that I've read, but Tyler hasn't read yet. It's called The Old Lady Who Liked Cats by Carol Green, pictures by Loretta Krupinski.
Is that the same as The Cat Who Liked Old Ladies?
No, I think that was a book by Sammy Davis Jr., but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I've never heard of that. Is it any good?
John, I think Kino just made that up.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you? Well, I know the story of the old ladies who liked cats. And you know what I like about this book? That it shows us how things are connected in ways that we don't always understand.
What? Gee, now I don't understand.
Well, Kino, I think you'll understand once we read this and we can talk about it afterwards, okay? Once there was an island with a town in the center. And beyond the town grew fields of sweet red clover. And beyond the field stretched a dark green forest all the way to the sea. And on the sea sailed the Navy round and round the island, keeping it safe. Now, the sailors in the Navy were strong and healthy because they drank plenty of good milk that came from the cows in the fields. And the cows gave the good fresh milk because they ate plenty of sweet red clover. And the clover grew thick because long-tongued bees carried pollen from blossom to blossom, and the bees carried pollen because there were no field mice to eat their honeycombs. And there were no field mice because cats from town chased them into the forest. And the cats chased the mice because the old ladies who liked cats let them out each night and said, "Chase those mice and keep our island safe." They were wise old ladies, you see, and they knew how things worked together. But one night, the mayor of the town went for a walk, tripped over a cat, and fell flat on his face in a puddle. "I shall make a new law," he cried. "From now on, cats must stay inside at night, and that will keep our island safe." The old ladies who liked cats sighed and shook their heads, but they kept their cats inside at night. And the cats couldn't chase the field mice, and the field mice ate the honeycombs, and the long-tongued bees stopped carrying pollen, and the clover grew thin and sour, and the cows gave poor milk. and the sailors became weak and sickly. And then one night, invaders came. They sailed right past the Navy, swarmed through the forest, trampled over the fields, stomped into the town, and shouted, "This is our island now." In the days that followed, they ate everything in sight, littered the streets, frightened the children, and took up all the room. "What shall we do?" cried the townsfolk. "What shall we do?" cried the mayor. "This is what you must do," said the old ladies who liked cats. They were wise old ladies, you'll remember, and knew how things worked together. "You must change your law and let our cats out at night. Then the island will be safe again." The mayor scratched his head. "Imagine that," he said. "All right, the law is changed." So, out came the cats that chased the field mice, and away ran the mice and left the honeycombs, and back came the long-tongued bees that carried the pollen, and up grew the clover, thick and sweet, and the cows ate plenty and gave good fresh milk, and the sailors drank plenty and became strong and healthy, and one day they threw the invaders off the island. "Well done," said the mayor, and pinned medals on all of them. But the sailors took them off and gave them to the real heroes, the ladies who liked cats. And that's the end. Who were the real heroes, Tyler?
The ladies.
That's right, because they knew how things worked together. You know, I just wanted to mention there's a note here from Carol Green that says, "For many years, scientists have known that plants and animals need each other. Each has a particular job in the community. If that job isn't done, the whole community can fall apart." That's what Mara was talking about at the beginning, how things depend on each other to work together.
Yeah.
Did you like the book, boy?
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I like the faces of the old ladies, too.
Yeah.
They are wise,
I
aren't
think,
they?
I think this is the point of the story. See, for the cows to give milk, a whole bunch of things need to happen, okay? Like the cats have to run the field mice into the forest so they won't get into the honeycombs of the bees, so the bees can work on the clover, so the cows can eat the clover, so the sailors can drink the milk from the cows and be strong and defend the island, right?
That's right. That's how things are connected in the story. Way to go, Kino.
Now I understand about all the things being connected. Now I understand, yeah.
Oh, John, thank you so much for showing us how you read to Tyler.
Oh,
and
Mara, I have something. I got
Kino, I know. Give me a minute. Let me finish and I'll get to you, okay? I know you're excited. John, I wanted to ask you, what kind of stories do you prefer to read?
Well, personally, I like Stephen King, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. He started reading Dr. Seuss, God rest his soul. What a great writer he was. And Maurice Sendak, and Tom Sawyer he's sort of interested in. My older boy, Jason, has read all the Tarzan books, and Tyler pays attention to what the older kids read and looks over their shoulder. So I think very soon he's going to go into the Lord of the Jungle land.
Wow.
Mara, I have something very, very important I have to ask you.
Oh, okay, Kino, it's your turn. What do you need?
Oh, well, you see, I've invited my amiga, Kim, to come today, and I was sort of hoping that she could read us one of my favorite stories, okay?
Well, why not? Well, that's what we're all about here at Storytime, of course. What a great idea.
Excellent. Kim loves stories. I'm sure you'll really like her.
Oh, great, Kino. Hey, I have an idea. We have just about enough time to read another book before your friends arrive. Maybe John will read us Alistair's Elephant.
Sure, I'll read it. I'd be happy to, but it looks like it's going to be a group reading.
Hi, we're here.
Hi, everybody. Make yourselves at home. We'll be right down, okay? Kino, where's your friend Kim?
Oh, that's Kim right down there with the rest of my compadres. Well, what's the story, Kim?
Read along, amigo.
That's my Kim.
Well, I'm so glad that Kim and all your friends were able to come. John, looks like our eager story fans are ready.
Well, I'm ready, too. Come on, T-Ball, let's go down and
Come
meet
on.
these guys.
I know Kim's gonna knock Mara's socks off with her reading. She's really great at this.
Hi, I'm John. It's my son, Tyler. And I'm going to read Alistair's Elephant by Marilyn Sadler, illustrated by Roger Bolin. Okay? Alistair Griddle was a very busy boy. He had no time for nonsense. He worked very hard at school. When he knew the answer to a question, he would raise both his hands. He was very neat and tidy. He cleaned his room every night and slept on top of his covers. Alistair also found time to play. He was very careful to choose games that exercised his mind as well as his body. Every Saturday, Alistair went to the zoo because that was the day they offered a special admission rate for children under 10. Alistair was very thrifty, too. On Saturday, when Alistair was going to the zoo, it threatened to rain, so Alistair took an umbrella. Now, when he got to the zoo, he decided which animals he most wanted to see. Then he studied the zoo map. He walked quickly and stopped only once for a chocolate bar too small to spoil his dinner.
Good.
He set out for home only after he had thanked the zookeeper for a most enjoyable afternoon. See, there he's leaving the zoo. Now, when it began to rain, Alistair was glad he had taken his umbrella. He was nearly home when he realized something quite surprising. He was being followed by an... The plot thickens. The zookeeper will be very worried about you, cried Alistair. You must go back to the zoo. But the elephant wouldn't go. Alistair was late for dinner, so there was nothing he could do but let the elephant follow him home. You can't keep him, shouted his mother from the window. Alistair didn't want to. He didn't have time for a pet. So he called the zookeeper, and the zookeeper checked his records. There was a hippopotamus missing, but not an elephant. Are you sure it's not a hippo? Asked the zookeeper. Alistair was certain. Well, there was nothing Alistair could do but eat his dinner and hope that the elephant would leave. He was so upset he couldn't eat his favorite vegetables. The elephant didn't leave that night, nor any night that week. Alistair had a very hard time sleeping with the elephant at his window. Even though Alistair got up early, the elephant got up earlier. Alistair didn't have any privacy. He had to dress in the cupboard. The elephant followed him to school and caused so much excitement that everyone had to be sent home. Alistair did not get to take the arithmetic test he'd studied so hard for. The elephant ate all of Alistair's houseplants, as well as his science book and his stamp collection. Alistair tried to teach the elephant how to behave. The elephant did get a little better and even gave Alistair some privacy. On school days, the elephant learned to stay at home. On Saturday, however, Alistair took the elephant back to the zoo. He just didn't have time for an elephant every day of the week. The zookeeper checked his records again and found a mistake. He had been missing an elephant after all. He thanked Alistair very much. The elephant was very sad. Alistair was a little sad too, but he promised the elephant he would visit every Saturday. Then Alistair left for home. It had been a busier week than usual, and at times it had been fun. But he was very happy to be going home to his quiet, tidy room where, at last, he could get some work done. And guess what happens, kids?
A giraffe.
Now he's got more problems, and they're taller. You want to know what's the difference between an elephant and a jar of peanut butter? Well, you either get a jar of peanut butter that never forgets or an elephant that sticks to the roof of your mouth. But I want... How many from out of town? Thank you very much. I'm sorry. What would your mom say if you brought home an elephant?
No, you can't keep that for your pet.
Why?
Because an elephant can fit through your door.
That's right. Tyler?
And because it will wreck everything and destroy your house.
Thank you very much.
My brother sleeps on top of the covers, too, just like Alistair. But it's not because he's neat. It's because he's lazy, and he doesn't want to make the bed.
And do you make your bed every morning, Kino? Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, most of the time, sort of. But right now, it's time for a poem. Ooh. I am itching for a story now. It's like a tickle in my head. So my friend Kim will take a bow and read a book about going to bed.
You've got it, Kino. Kim, it's your turn.
Okay.
What are you reading today?
Oh, this story was recommended by Kino.
Ooh.
And I really like it too. It's called Ira Sleeps Over. And the pictures and the words are by Bernard Weber. I was invited to sleep at Reggie's house. Was I happy? I had never slept at a friend's house before. But I had a problem. It began when my sister said, "Are you taking your teddy bear along?" Taking my teddy bear along? I said. To my friend's house? Are you kidding? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Of course I'm not taking my teddy bear. And then she said, "But you never slept without your teddy bear before. How will you feel sleeping without your teddy bear for the very first time?" I'll feel fine. I'll feel great. I'll probably love sleeping without my teddy bear. Just don't worry about it, I said. Who's worried? She said. But now she had me thinking about it. Now she really had me thinking about it. I began to wonder, suppose I won't like sleeping without my teddy bear? Suppose I just hate sleeping without my teddy bear? Should I take him? Take him, said my mother. Take him, said my father. But Reggie will laugh, I said. He'll say I'm a baby. He won't laugh, said my mother. He won't laugh, said my father. He'll laugh, said my sister. I decided not to take my teddy bear. That afternoon, I played with Reggie. Reggie had plans, big plans. Tonight, he said, when you come to my house, we're gonna have fun, fun, fun. First, I'll show you my junk collection. And after that, we'll have a wrestling match. And after that, we'll have a pillow fight. And after that, we'll do magic tricks.
Wow.
And after that, we'll play checkers. And after that, we'll play dominoes. And after that, we could fool around with my magnifying glass. Great, I said. I can hardly wait. By the way, I asked, what do you think of teddy bears? But Reggie just went on talking and planning as if he had never heard of teddy bears. And after that, he said, do you know what we can do after that? I mean, when the lights are out and the house is really dark, guess what we can do? What? I asked. We can tell ghost stories. Ghost stories? I said. Ghost stories, said Reggie. Scary, creepy, spooky. Ghost stories. I began to think about my teddy bear. Does your house get very dark? I asked. Uh-huh, said Reggie. Very, very dark? Uh-huh, said Reggie. By the way, I said again, what do you think of teddy bears? Suddenly, Reggie was in a big hurry to go someplace. See you tonight, he said. See you, I said. I decided to take my teddy bear. Good, said my mother. Good, said my father. But my sister said, what if Reggie wants to know your teddy bear's name? Did you think about that? And did you think about how he'll laugh and say Tata is a silly baby name, even for a teddy bear? He won't ask, I said. He'll ask, she said. I decided not to take my teddy bear. At last, it was time to go to Reggie's house. Good night, said my mother. Good night, said my father. Sleep tight, said my sister. I went next door where Reggie lived. That night, Reggie showed me his junk. He showed me his flashlight, his collection of bottle caps, a chain made of chewing gum wrappers, some picture postcards, an egg timer, jumbo goggles, a false nose and mustache, and a bunch of old rubber stamps from his father's office. we decided to play office with the rubber stamps. And after that, we had a wrestling match. And after that, we had a pillow fight. And after that, Reggie's father said, "Bedtime." "Already?" said Reggie. "Already," said his father. We got into bed. "Good night," said Reggie's father. "Good night," we said. Reggie sighed. I sighed. "We can still tell ghost stories," said Reggie. Do you know any?" I asked. Said Reggie. Reggie began to tell a ghost story. Once there was this ghost, and he lived in a haunted house, only he did most of the haunting himself. This house was empty except for this ghost, because nobody wanted to go near this house, because they were so afraid of this ghost. And every night, this ghost would go around this house and make all kinds of clunky and creaky noises. Arum, arum, like that. And he would go around looking for people to scare, because that's what he liked most to do, scare people. And he was very scary to look at. Oh, was he scary to look at. Reggie stopped. "Are you scared?" he asked. I said. "Are you?" "What?" said Reggie. "Are you scared?" "Just a minute," said Reggie. "I have to get something." "What do you have to get?" I asked. "Oh, something," said Reggie. Reggie pulled the something out of the drawer. The room was dark, but I could see. It had fuzzy arms and legs. It was about the size of a teddy bear. I looked again. It was a teddy bear! Reggie got back into bed. "Now, about this ghost," he said. "Is that your teddy bear?" I asked. "What?" said Reggie. "Is that your teddy bear?" "You mean this teddy bear?" "The one you're holding," I said. Reggie answered. "Do you sleep with him all the time?" "What?" said Reggie. "Do you sleep with him all the time?" "Does your teddy bear have a name?" "Does your teddy bear have a name?" Reggie answered. "What is it?" "You won't laugh," said Reggie. "No, I won't laugh," I said. "Promise?" "I promise. It's Foo-Foo." "Did you say Foo-Foo?" Reggie said. "Just a minute," I said. "I have to get something." "What do you have to get?" Reggie asked. "Oh, something," I answered. The next minute, I was ringing my own doorbell. The door opened. "Ira!" everyone said. "What are you doing here?" "I changed my mind," I answered. "You what?" said my mother. "You what?" said my father. "You what?" said my sister. She was still up. "I changed my mind," I said. "I decided to bring Tata after all." I went upstairs. Soon I was down again with Tata. My sister said, "Red, you'll laugh. You'll see how he'll laugh. He's just gonna fall down laughing." "He won't laugh," said my mother. "He won't laugh," said my father. "He won't laugh," I said. I came back to Reggie's room. "I have a teddy bear too," I said. "Do you want to know his name?" I waited for Reggie to say but Reggie didn't say Reggie didn't say anything. I looked at Reggie. He was fast asleep. Just like that, he had fallen asleep. "Reggie, wake up," I said. "You have to finish telling the ghost story." But Reggie just held his teddy bear closer and went right on sleeping. And after that, well, there wasn't anything to do after that. "Good night," I whispered to Tata, and I fell asleep too.
Kim, that was excellent. A first-rate reading for a first-rate book.
Boy, way to go, Kim. Way to go. She's an old friend of mine, you know.
I know.
Thanks. I still have a teddy bear, but I never gave him a name. I just called him Teddy Bear.
Let me ask you something. How do you feel about what Ira went through in the book that Kim read?
I have a special blanket, and I used to have a special frog.
A special frog?
I still do, but I don't sleep with it anymore.
Why not?
I don't know,
You outgrew them both? You don't need them anymore?
but I'm still gonna use them.
Okay, that's good.
Just in
That's
emergencies.
good. Yes, Ryan.
My rabbit's name is Bugs Bunny.
You have a rabbit named Bugs Bunny? That's great. Was Ira nervous about taking that teddy bear over? What do you think? Dillinger, what do you think?
Yes.
What in the story makes you realize that he's nervous about taking his teddy bear over?
He thought that Reggie was gonna come home a baby.
Yeah. And what actually happened afterwards? Yeah.
He pulled out his own favorite teddy bear.
Yes. Does anybody remember what that teddy bear's name was? Yeah. Oh, you knew everything. Fifi?
Fofo.
There you go. Very good. Well, you know, I just want to tell you one thing. I think it's a really good thing that Ira finds out that Reggie is very much like himself and that Reggie is also afraid sometimes. You know, people do that sometimes. They make you think that you're the only one that's afraid. And deep down, we know everybody's afraid sometimes. And that's why those teddy bears are good, because they help them to fight their fears, right? And at the end, once Ira realizes that Reggie's not going to laugh, Ira decides to go ahead and show up with his teddy bear regardless of what his sister says. And that's good to do, too, don't you think?
Yeah. Just like me.
Like you.
But what I really want to know is if anybody here can tell me what the big firecracker said to the little firecracker.
Oh, Kino, that is so easy. Let's go out with a bang.
No. The big firecracker said, "My pop is bigger than your pop."
My pop is... Oh, that was a good one, Kino. Well, that was very good, very good. But let's go out with a bang, okay?
No. It's my pop is bigger than your pop.
Oh, no, I know, but we gotta go now, and it's the end of story time. So let's go out with a bang, get it?
Oh, of course, I get it now. I get it, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John and Kim, and all of you for coming to our story time today. Let's see, which are your story picks for today, Kino?
Oh, yeah, over here, see.
I got him.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
I brought another story about a boy and a girl who wonder about what happens in the dark. It's called What's Under My Bed. I really like this one.
Sounds very interesting. Well, I would like to recommend The Great Kapok Tree, A Tale of the Amazon Rainforest. And it's also about all living things and how they're connected, just like the old ladies who like cats.
Well, until we connect again, keep a story in your heart. Bang!
Oop, thanks. Bye-bye.
Today's Storytime books are The Old Ladies Who Liked Cats, Alistair's Elephant, Ira Sleeps Over, What's Under My Bed, and The Great Kapok Tree. You can find these and other books at your local library or bookstore. Storytime has been made possible by a gift from Helen and Peter Bing, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children.